Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Paul Claxton on the line. He's founder of Reciprocity ROI. Paul, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me, Adam.
All right, Paul. So excited to get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about venture capital strategy for startups. But before we get into that, I want to get a little bit further into what you're doing over at Reciprocity ROI. Tell us a little bit more about your firm, please.
Yeah, thank you. So Reciprocity has been around since 2016, and we have been in the venture capital space pretty much since then, working with Series A companies and above, helping them kind of fill in different operational pieces of their infrastructure to essentially get them from point A to point B, Series B, help them scale into different markets and kind of diversify and broaden their client outreach and acquisition strategy.
And I think that's going to be a great transition for us, Paul. Let's just jump right in. So venture capital strategy for these companies. I mean, you have a very unique vantage point in where, you know, the deal flow you see and the types of companies you work with. Where do you want to start with this concept?
So as far as venture capital strategy goes, we're purely focused on emerging technologies, technologies of the future that haven't quite made it full stream into the public yet, but also current technologies that still kind of have to go through growing pains. And then what we do is we kind of tie that into venture capital and helping these companies actually get to market, because ultimately, many times great ideas don't even make it to market unless they get the right financial infrastructure backed up behind them. And that's kind of what we do. So we work with them on the operational front, in terms of where can those technologies have the greatest impact, and really show the venture capital market that, yes, okay, you should get behind this technology.
Where do you find, so you work with a lot of different types of companies, where do you find the founders kind of fall short in presenting and kind of going through this strategy? Because obviously, you know, there's some that work with firms like yours, there's some that try to go at it alone. I mean, what's been your experience with people that are doing it wrong?
Well, the venture capital space and technology too it's a really ambiguous space. It's almost kind of like the universe, you know, and so there's all these different moving parts. And what I've seen with entrepreneurs is that they tend to get tunnel vision. So they tend to think that, you know, maybe they've kind of got the market, you know, by the horns, so to speak, and you know, when essentially they really don't, because what I found is a lot of times they're so kind of tunnel vision focused on their idea that you know, that's great, you know, they're focused on their idea and their product, but you really have to expand your thinking at a global scale in terms of what does your product mean to different markets, whether it be the U.S., Asia, China, et cetera, et cetera. How are you going to scale that product? Because ultimately, you know, if you eventually you're going to plateau if you can't find the ubiquitous demand for that product, if you can't kind of add some flexibility to that product, and if you're so rigid to the point where, you know, you're actually inhibiting yourself. Ultimately, different markets do different things. LA is entertainment, New York is finance, Detroit is the auto industry. So your product is going to mean different things to every market. And so that's kind of being a global entrepreneur like myself and having a global business. That's really where we come in and we look at companies and really 4 key operational areas to help us see, okay, we do an assessment. Where do you guys need to fill gaps in order for an investor, a venture capitalist, to feel comfortable financially getting behind your product.
That's awesome. So Paul, final question, two-part question. So I'm going to, so first off, if somebody's listening to this, a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, executives listening to the show right now, we just barely scratched the surface on this topic, and I know we can talk about it for hours. But that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want more information, question one, what are the right types of businesses and or companies that are typically a good fit for reciprocity ROI, number one, and number two, what's the best way for them to follow up and to connect with you and your team?
Oh, great question. So any kind of emerging technology. Right now, we're currently, to give you an idea, there's about 30 emerging technologies right now that are either on the market or being developed. And we're in a few of them. Key areas being robotics, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, 5G, IoT, did I say virtual reality? Yes. And so those are really kind of key areas that we're focused. Obviously, healthcare is a big area right now. So health technology, as it relates to AR and VR, we're involved in that. And so really any of the emerging technologies, we would be interested in working with companies who are Series A or above and helping them, scale. So, and if anyone needs to get a hold of us, we can be reached at info, I-N-F-O, 180, that's the number 180, at reciprocity-roi.com.
Fantastic. Well, Paul, really appreciate you coming on the show today and sharing more about your background and all the great stuff you're doing over at Reciprocity ROI. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And Paul, thanks again for coming on the show.
Yes, very much appreciate it. Thank you, Adam.